Back here on the near post. The near post. I'm sorry. We do get caught into that too much and then, you don't do the show. But we were talking about this last week. Me, Courtney, and Slims, we were leaving the stew. We got downstairs by the security gate, and this became like a heavy topic, and then it was like, damn, it's getting good. Now we got to walk away. I already know my answer to this. So, Damien, because you weren't a part of the conversation, I'm going to come to you first. In today's game, we have wingers and wide forwards. I think both have killed off strikers. Like number nines, proper number nines.
Yeah, because their job has changed, their role has changed. They're gunmen now.
Right.
Every man who plays in the wing is a gunman. Cut inside, bang it. And I blame the person
who's a bang it.
No, but it's true.
The trademark.
Bang it.
No, obviously, like I'm thinking of it on my team. The only natural old school winger is Perisic, who goes down the wing. And
he's not even an old school winger.
Exactly.
He's just too
like. And you look at Kulusevski, drive in the middle, drive the ball down to the byline, and
he's a 10 out wide.
And when that started from like in the Prem, like
Mourinho
from Sterling days.
Mourinho did it. No.
I think Robben.
Mourinho.
They were the first.
Yeah, Robben and Ribery were probably the first ones to like really do that at like that
successfully.
rate. And I think Ronaldo and Messi were the first two to kind of be prolific scorers from wide areas.
It was handpicked. It was a few of them, and then in the Prem from like when Sterling came in, it's just
Bale, Sterling,
before Sterling.
Yeah, before Sterling as well.
Long before Sterling.
I think so. So the reason why we said this is because
Malud, no, not really Maluda, but he had a Nelka playing on the left.
No, but all these guys, all the guys we're talking about, these guys will still do the basic functions of a winger, which is cross it in.
Do you think managers, like, because you said Anelka out wide, and that did happen. Do you think managers started to think more strikers equals more goals?
I think what happened, I just think
that's such an easy question, but
football changed when I think things like formations became a bit more. Because back then it was just simple 4-4-2, whack them on, and I think people started looking at formations and started looking at superiorities on the pitch. So we saw this massive influx of 4-3-3 come in. Then it was like a 4-2-3-1 hybrid. Then everyone's kind of going to three at the back for a period. And football's always going to be cyclic. And at the moment, in the time of the inverted winger, people realised that where are you going to get the most space? Where do people probably crowd? A lot of people crowd their 18-yard 6-yard box when they defend deep. So a lot of your space is out wide. If I can get someone out there who can hit the top corner, 9 times out of 10, why am I not going to do that? Especially when fullbacks are used to marking someone down the line, stop the cross, What if I bring someone that's going to invert and come inside him? Now it's a completely different problem. Now centre-back's got to come and help him, my 9's free or whatever. Do you know what I mean? So when those things became... and obviously genetics change as well, player profiles change.
Yes.
Nines kind of moved
That's literally what I was about to say. Yeah.
Poaching a 9-yard box and having to do a bit more like people like Henry and Ronaldo.
But are they evolving or based on the lack of ability? Was really what I want to dig into. Because
strikers or wingers?
Strikers, because if you look at like Harry Kane, right? Like, I think like he's probably like in this modern era the best striker we could talk about that does this. The dropping in deep and then picking up the ball and playing wingers in behind. And obviously he's come in an era where maybe crossing has started to like be a dying art in a sense. From the areas we're used to crosses coming in from. So like when Beckham was crossing the ball, it might be from different angles, but for the most part, wingers of that era would get down to the byline, right? So because strikers are not getting that service anymore, and that's not like a regular thing, are now number 9s because of the lack of ability.
But then I think it ties into what Courts was saying. Just to go back just a couple of steps into the formation change. So when you're going from 4-4-2 to 4-3-3, in a 4-4-2, basically you've got honest wingers left and right who are going forward and going back in equal measure. So
the last time we would have seen that was Leicester's Premier League winning season.
Literally.
That'd be the last time we've seen
that. Would have been, and even then, they was playing 4-4-2 and everyone else was playing 4-3-3.
Yeah.
So when you've gone from that and you've gone 4-3-3 and you've got like a left wing forward and a right wing forward who they don't need to come back as much because they've probably got at least one, if not two, centre mids who can shuffle out wide to kind of do their
defensive work.
They're only focusing on really attacking and scoring. And then when you add the sort of inverted debate into that, it's no longer about service to the striker. It's all about each of those players are trying to score. And then even if you look at it, if you push it on a little bit further, it's then become a point where that striker, certain times, is now servicing the two either side.
Which we saw, if you look at Liverpool 17-18, where we saw probably the best use of the false nine since Barca did it with Messi.
Yeah.
Where you've got a player who
and
primarily,
as well.
who starts, who leads the line, he leads the press, he wins the ball back. And his sole focus isn't to go beyond them centre-backs. But as a centre-back, you're traditionally told, mark the striker, that's your danger man. But if all of a sudden your danger man's 10 yards away from you, popping balls over your head, you are going to a game thinking, as your centre-backs, I'm not going to go over there and leave
that space. Let me ask a more technical question then. So if that's the case, is that why the centre-backs now evolved as well? So it's off topic but on topic.
It's all about superiorities,
right? Because now I'm thinking because you play centre-back primarily. If I'm playing centre back, I always learn be as touch tight to your striker. If you can touch him, that's good. If you can touch his arm, whatever, you're in a good spot. Now because the wingers are not traditional, the number 9 is no longer a traditional number 9. The centre backs now have time on the ball.
Yeah,
and then that's because back in the day, the ball's getting lumped up, and then the number 9's battling for headers, and you know what I'm saying.
And this is the thing where like men like Pep have fucked the game up because effectively they man look at really and truly as 11 man versus 11 man.
Yeah.
So it's not a case of that's a centre back. That's everybody should be able to do everything.
I like something. Sorry to cut you, but I like something you said a couple weeks ago where you said I wish you'd have said it on the episode. Funny enough, but you said. I can't remember who was being interviewed, but they said like it's funny how you guys see formations.
Because
the way we see it, it's like 50 different setups,
and it changes on the fly. And it's like we see a starting lineup. You know, they're playing 4-3-3 today. Like to bring up United, you lot play 4-3-3 at the moment, but really and truly, it's like a 3 at the back. In a game, Potter does this. Like De Zerbi does it a lot. Some of these teams are going through like 10 formations in 5 minutes.
Game.
They've gone from 3-4-3 to 3-4-2-1 to 5-1-1-1. You'll see. I sit there and watch it like
you're playing against situations.
Is it now coming into is it coming into like a needs must?
Yes.
In the sense of like, okay, so because I remember I was watching one game and like I didn't think, not saying it's not possible, but like when you hear man-to-man marking, like but the whole pitch. I always thought to myself, that's difficult to do, right? Because if you're playing like basketball, it's 5-on-5. I can mark the guy I'm marking. That's it, right? But in football, how are you going 11 to 11, marking each man out the game? But then I saw it done, and I was like, oh.
But this is how you're now seeing the evolution of the goalkeeper now. Where
that's where I was going with that. That's where I was going with that.
Seen as man that can come outside the box and pop. So it's again like about superiorities. You always have 3 men in your 18-yard box when you start a game. So why am I going to lump it down there to you when I've got a man who can now push my team 20 yards up the pitch?
And they can't press.
Now my striker's already behind your centre back, so my wingers are midfielders are on top of you, and the balls come and my goalkeeper can pop an inch perfect past 40 yards.
And I think that stops the. So here's the thing though, with goalkeepers being more accurate, I suppose, with or hitting areas. Strikers not now having to battle for headers and things of that nature, but we've seen more of the I think with that Liverpool team you mentioned, Salah and Mane probably took it to a whole nother level after the Barcelonas and who else was it? Barcelona and who else did it?
Inter did it as well.
Inter did it at one point, yeah.
Did what?
The 3 like inverted forwards in a sense, right? Like when I saw Mane and
Chelsea did it to a degree.
Chelsea, right? So just to like I guess for like a pressing purpose, Bayern. Just so like for just like a pressing purpose, if you're looking at how I guess Liverpool were doing it with Mane and Salah, they would press you off the park. Midfield would come up, and then you lose even if you got through that, you lose the ball in the midfield, right? I think now, when you're looking at those guys scoring goals in terms of Mane and Salah, why is it we haven't seen that same production again now? Not from those players. I'm saying the wingers, other wingers.
The difference with that Liverpool team, and this is why they're a bit of an anomaly. That team physically was a
monster.
With the Spain team, they did the 4-6-0. We had that famous final Fabregas played. Similar situation.
What was it like? 6 seconds defense or something like that. Like you lose the ball, you gotta get back.
7 second or whatever. And them players made it work, but they weren't physically as imposing as that Liverpool team. So not only are these men technically proficient, but you've got someone there like a Wijnaldum who I think is very underrated from that team.
Very good player
who covered ridiculous amounts of ground. Henderson, ridiculous amounts of ground. And they were able to kind of impose themselves physically upon you.
Yeah.
So then when you've got that coupled with the game plan that they have, the technical players that they have, it's kind of easy for players like Mane and Salah, who are athletes in their own right, insane athletes in their own right, to kind of put up numbers like that. Because the fact is, they can hit, they're getting into that situation. Comment says about superiority, your training situation. They're getting into a certain situation 6-7 times in a game.
So
whereas someone that's not as fit, maybe might get.
But then I would simplify it and maybe say the players just aren't as good.
See, now this is where I was going. So, Damien, if players aren't as good, so now you almost need Firmino, right? Because in that scenario, I would not even argue. It's quite plain and simple. Salah and Mane are better goal scorers than Firmino is.
Yeah.
So you need Firmino like you need Benzema, even though we know Benzema's a gunman. When Ronaldo was around, you needed Benzema to do the dog work, so Ronaldo could do the pretty stuff.
That's what I basically said. Did that. So that role is then become, so they're facilitating for the two outside of them, basically.
Yeah. So that's what I'm trying to. So with us saying that, Damien, do you think that now the number 9 is like a lost art?
No.
No, do you know why? Because this is the thing, and this is where I don't think the players are worse. I just think the job is so demanding that only special players can do it. And I was going to bring up Suarez at Barcelona with Messi and Neymar.
Wait, what role are you talking about? Are you talking about the wingers or the strikers?
The 9.
So wait, let him answer.
That's why I said
Is the number 9 now becoming a lost art?
No, it's not. You have loads of number 9s around the world, but obviously we compare a lot of number 9s to the best that we know.
Okay.
So for me, is that yes, unlike before, you got a lot of service from the wingmen and your fallbacks, crosses into the box. Now that role is almost just on your fallbacks. Your wingers are basically cutting inside, and I think that's down to basically increased probability of scoring a goal. I think the probability of scoring a goal compared to crossing it in is a lot lower, and you open yourself up to more counterattacks. Obviously, you're going to lose possession.
I want to ask you this question on top of what you're saying, though. You said the probability of crossing now is lower than scoring the other way in terms of cutting in, right?
Yes.
Like, okay. I'm not going to say, I don't want to use this because it's United, but we brought Valverde in on loan. Valverde was what, 6'6", 6'7", 6'8", around there, wherever he is.
6'6".
6'6". All right, so he's taller than most of the guys he's coming up against.
He was terrible in the air, though.
I hear that.
Apparently.
I hear that. We don't know. God didn't see it. But what I'll say is this. The ball hardly got crossed. And I remember when Cavani was in the team, who was actually good in the air, the ball hardly got crossed. When Ronaldo was in the team, the ball got crossed, but he was hardly in the right position to get to it. But the cross was even that quality either.
Catching up on the play.
Right. So when I ask you, is the number 9 art lost? What I'm saying to you is that I was always taught, once you popped it, get in the box, right? So once I've held Courtney off, which he's gonna tell you that'll never happen, fine. But once I've held Courtney off and I've popped it out to Slims, and Slims and now got the ball, my next thing is to spin Courtney either near post, middle, back post, and wait for. And Slims is supposed to get his head up.
Don't let me block for you.
Slims is supposed to get his head up and look for where I am and what area he's gonna hit with the ball. That's what Beckham did. That's what Eddie Cole did. That's what these type of strikers and wingers do.
You said Beckham.
That's what Beckham did in terms of his cross. Like he gets his head up and then. So I'm saying all that to say this: if that's the case, we're not seeing that anymore. Then the number 9's remit is done. The number 9 doesn't exist in that world anymore.
I think you're more talking about poachers, though.
Yeah, in that sense,
the role of a poacher doesn't exist anymore.
Exactly.
Okay.
The 9 itself, you've got more people trying to emulate a Thierry Henry than they're trying to emulate a Inzaghi or Van Nistelrooy.
Yeah,
and because
that kind of
people have seen what that kind of 9 can do, they weren't as common before. Now we talk about a top class 9, then a lot of coaches call them 9.5 because they can do both sides of the role. Now you add in the added fact that everyone plays high press.
But then would you say Henry
was a number 9? No.
Yeah, exactly. So then
he was a 9.5. But
I wouldn't even say that. I'd say Henry was probably the first guy that I've seen be an inverted forward. But I know where he is on the diagram of the pitch. But what I'm saying is he went out wide left and cut it.
No, but Henry did that for periods in games, but he was always
sitting near about. I know.
He was always prototypically a 9.
Yeah.
If we're talking about guys that kind of hovered in, someone that for me is a bit more different is someone like and then Mbappe, where he could start as the 9, but he spent so much of his time in that left hand pocket. You wouldn't consider him a
Mbappe's out of 9.
He's not a
It's
striker.
Haaland's a 9.
I don't think it's just the poacher role. I think
No, because that's what I'm trying to say. As a 9 back then,
as a 9, yeah.
when I think about like, because I'm only saying it from like personal experience. If you're a 9 and you're saying 9.5, and I prefer that instead of splitting poacher and 9, because if you say 9.5, then I understand the hybrid of your role. But if you're telling me I'm a 9, I'm a poacher, I'm getting in the box, I'm holding the ball up, I'm bringing people into play.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is that the 9 as a role? Is still the 9, but the only people that can do it are players that have the qualities of a 9.5.
Kane.
So for example, if you go further back, and I'm not going to say we go back as far as Henry, let's go back to a bit more recent in times.
Okay.
You look at a Chicharito, however you say his name.
Yeah.
He wouldn't thrive as a 9 now, and he didn't thrive as a starting 9 then because he couldn't do some of those jobs.
Right.
He was literally fox in the box.
So you're saying,
which is why he was so good at coming off the bench and sniffing out chances. But for everything else, he couldn't do.
I'm not gonna say he had good hold up play, but what I will say is this.
But you need that as a.
He had good link up play though.
His link up play was cold.
Yeah.
His link up play was
he
cold.
had cold link. So I say that because if you're gonna play hold up or link up, it's kind of in the same world,
still not
but very different.
thing.
Yeah, it's very different.
Yeah.
Because now you have
that's
to
a good way to
occupy.
put
You
it.
have to occupy.
Same world, but very different.
Yeah.
But
Because my link up,
Martial is very good at link up.
but not good at hold up.
Right.
Right.
But but Chicharito, he can get it, say, and then spin off into the box.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying by, if I'm talking about the number 9 role in my head, because obviously everybody watches this video will say, yeah, but that, I've seen different types of number 9. Jermaine Defoe, for instance.
Yeah.
Because I don't think Jermaine Defoe held the ball up, but he was a pass and spinning behind type.
The role of the 9 is
Peter Crouch, sure.
But even if we went through each team in the Premier League, I don't think we'd get 9s from every like a proper striker from every team.
So
at current,
I'd like to do that, but
present and history.
I'm not saying to do it. I'm just saying I don't think we will.
But I think if we look at all of the ones that we consistently know that bagsmen, they are all like, you look at your Ivan Tonys, your Ollie Watkins, your
these are 9s though.
They're 9s, but look at what else they have to their game. Do you get what I'm saying?
But
they do all the other stuff that we're talking about. They harry, they occupy, but they also can still bag and do the fox in the box.
But what's their?
Those are not your top brass of 9.
Number 9 was chopping,
you
man.
can't name too much more after that.
I'm not saying they're in abundance. I'm not saying they're in abundance.
You're a British team.
No, but I'm not saying they're in abundance. But what I'm saying is that more of them exist now, and they will only continue to create more of them until the role changes again.
But doesn't that move to his point though? The art's dying.
The art's dying.
The art's dying. I just think it's evolving.
No, it's evolving. It's changing.
No, but the art is dead, and now it's something new in place.
Ollie Watkins doesn't like because remember I'm talking about the profile of a 9. The job now can only be done by players that are 9.5s and players that can play that can do both sides of the game. Do you get what I'm saying?
So you're saying it's evolving into that instead.
Okay. And you are seeing players that have come up maybe through a school of thinking where 9 was 18-yard box. You get between the width of the post,
they're shooting,
and you pop,
finishing.
Even Lukaku could do everything. He could play off the wing. He could occupy the. He did Everton. I watched him single-handedly.
He killed Monreal.
Doggy Monreal, bro, from the right wing. He did it for you lot as well.
I know.
There was a period of time he played on the right. He was a mean right winger.
I'm gonna say fuck you.
He was a mean right winger.
I'm gonna say fuck you. I'm gonna say fuck you. Let me tell you what.
Lukaku was cold.
Monreal was about 8.5 stone. Lukaku would have been about 6. He could just have the ball at his feet and just run. He would have run straight through Monreal. So I'm not hearing none of that.
I'm saying,
he did it though.
He did it, and he knew how to ball like that.
Let me tell you something.
He could hold man up and pin and spin.
You could put Yaya Toure.
Nah, don't do that.
And he would have run through Monreal.
No, but what we're saying
is
is
the physics of it. I'm saying the knowledge of how Lukaku played the game. He could do everything. He could get the ball, hold it. He could. The thing is, no. Shall I tell you why? Shall I tell you why as an example? Because at United, Lukaku was viewed as a target man. Lukaku has never been a target man.
But that's just United being a shambles.
But the fact is, he's still bagged 18 goals for you, man, as a target man.
Yeah, it's true.
Do you get what I'm saying? So you have to be able to be capable at loads of facets of the game.
No.
No, Linda. No, but then even if you don't need to, like, you go around the world now, and a lot of these men that are bagging goals, they possess, because teams want
those qualities.
At the top teams, we're talking about top teams. There's now, rather than 2 or 3 top teams in each league, there's about 7.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? So more of this striker is coming around.
All the players that you named, though, I would class them as 9s. So Watkins, I would now. Oh no,
he's a 9.
Yeah, he was a winger.
He's now a 9.
Tony's a 9.
Mitrovic,
Lukaku's a 9.
Mitchell's
a 9.
Mitrovic,
Lukaku, I would.
I would even give Carl Morris that trait. Shea Adams at Southampton.
Carlton Morris.
Okay, yeah.
Carl Morris.
Shea Adams.
Shaq is another one.
But then,
Shaq is not a 9. Shaq's not a 9.
He's a 9.
Shaq's a 9.5.
He's not a 9.
He plays the 9 though.
He's not a 9. He's not a 9.
He plays a 9. No, he plays a 9, plays a 9.5.
No, he's a 9.5. But he's not a 9.
He's not a 9.
You think he's a winger?
He's not a 9.
You think he's a winger?
No, I'm not saying I think he's a winger. I think, unless I'm getting your definition of 9.5 wrong.
You know what I'm saying? The position of 9 has evolved into a job that can only be done by players that profile as a 9.5.
I don't think Ishak has the
hold up play.
The hold up play?
He's built like a brick shit house. He can hold up play, bro.
No, can he or does he?
No,
different conversations.
He can. And the reason why, but the reason, if you look at his tenure in Spain, the reason why his goal scoring dropped so much was because he went from a guy that was out to back to kind of like this weird facilitating role where he used to link up play and let the ball stick. And I'm not saying he was the best at it.
No, of course.
I'm not saying that at all. But he's got the ability to do it. And whether someone harnesses that and makes it better is a different argument.
But wouldn't you say Ishak's...
He's not a 9.
Wouldn't you say he's more similar to Richarlison than he is to Watkins?
Richarlison's another one though. Played off the left wing, plays up front.
Yeah.
Son, another one. They're 9.5 players.
Bro,
but they're not 9s.
Not 9s.
I think the rule... I think
like they've been bred as 9.5. They've never been to 9.
They're not 9s.
No, but what I'm saying
I think that's limiting the player.
Richarlison is so far from
having them just as a 9 is limited them because they can do a 9. What a 9 can do, and plus they can do what.
Right. So if you've got a 9 who can just do the 9 thing, and you got Richarlison who can go on the wing, fuck it, you go on the wing and let the 9 do what he's doing.
But all right, I don't think we're not disputing.
So Henry's not 9.
I get what we say. We're kind of doing.
He's a 9.5.
Yeah, we're not.
Just making sure.
You're not saying he's not a 9. Cool, but where he's been deployed more often for Brazil, he's
in the position. He's
9.
All right. So the question is the art of a 9. So a profile of a Watkins, for example, more predominantly a striker.
Yeah.
So you know, like back in the day, like you had a striker ST and you had a CF.
Yeah.
One was more a 9 and one was more a 9.5.
One was more a 10 and one was
I'm trying to say.
Well, that's what a 9.5 is effectively.
Yeah. That's what the reason why some of them differentiating a CF and a ST.
But the reason why I'm saying that the 9 is what evolving players that can do, because effectively you're talking. It's a good thing you made back in the day because normally we deploy 2 strikers. Now you are by yourself, so you have to be able to bring in your wing players because the wings are inverted. But you also have to be able to. Hold on.
But I think Van Nistelrooy would do that though.
Welcome to the Near Post podcast. You are through. You are here. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and subscribe.
Subscribe twice. That's why you can't do this.